Hey everyone, here is my weekly college basketball top 10 list for Wednesday, January 21st. A lot of shakeups since the last time I did the college basketball top 10. So let's start at the top where one of the few places there was no shakeup. Arizona remains number one. They dispatch rival Arizona State, and then they go on the road and win at UCF, which has been known to give people problems. Arizona at number one. They have Cincinnati coming up and West Virginia at home before they hit a tougher stretch. At number two, I have Michigan. They suffered their first loss of the year to Wisconsin on the 10th, but rebounded with wins at Washington and at Oregon. They come home and beat Indiana. Now they got rivalry game Friday against Ohio State before a big showdown on the 27th against Nebraska. I have UConn number three in my poll. UConn quietly getting things done, but it's been a little nip and tuck. They beat Seton Hall by 5. They beat Georgetown by 2. Not impressive wins. Solo ball struggling right now to shoot a little bit. They're just have enough right now. The Big East isn't as difficult as it has been in years past. So I can think UConn will continue to roll, though they do have a tough game Saturday against Villanova, and then a couple road games at Creighton and at St. John's here in late January, early February. Number four in my list, and this is purely a look at who I think is the best team right now. So I have Houston actually at number four, leaping the Duke Blue Devils at 5. Houston has also just been dominating teams. They have looked really good since they beat Texas Tech by 4. They've demolished Baylor in Baylor. They beat West Virginia by 29. They beat Arizona State by 30. Huge game for them coming up at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, fresh off a home win versus BYU. As I said, number 5, I had the Duke Blue Devils. Duke goes out to California and sweeps the California Stanford back-to-back games, unlike North Carolina, who couldn't get that done. Duke really looked impressive against Stanford, winning by 30 in Stanford. They get Wake Forest at home this weekend, and then next Monday they got Louisville coming to town. So that should be a good game, but it doesn't get much easier for Duke after that with Virginia Tech and then North Carolina on the 7th of February. So Duke looking strong so far this year. They're up to number 3 in KenPom. They still just have that one loss to Texas Tech on the season. All right, number 6, the Purdue Boilermakers suffered a loss the other night against UCLA to drop to 17-2. Road loss at UCLA, not a terrible loss in terms of the grand scheme of things. But they haven't looked great lately, I would say. They beat USC by 5, beat Iowa by 7, only beat Penn State by 8. So Purdue kind of scuffling here a little bit, but they get Illinois this weekend on Saturday at home. West Lafayette, Mackey Arena should be a great game in the Big Ten there. Number 7, Iowa State slides down in my poll. They were up high as number 3, I believe, but they lose back-to-back games. Losing at Kansas, which can be forgiven. That's a tough place to play, Allen Fieldhouse. But then they go on the road to Cincinnati and lose by 9 at Cincinnati. So nice win yesterday over UCF at home by 30. Joshua Jefferson put up a triple-double, so hopefully he gets back on track for them. And then a couple winnable games for them. Iowa State should win their next 4, I would say. Of course, it's conference play, and that's why we do this, because things get crazy. Number 8, I have Nebraska. Now, Nebraska's still undefeated. Like I said earlier, I look at my top 10 as who do I think are the top teams right now, and I rank teams ahead of others that I think are better. So even though Nebraska's undefeated, I would still put all those teams ahead of them if they were to match up today. They have been looking, again, very impressive. They beat Oregon by 35 over a week ago. They got a win at Northwestern. They get Washington at home. They go to Minnesota, tricky game there, before they get Michigan. So a couple of very winnable games for Nebraska before a big showdown with Michigan, host Illinois, at Rutgers, and then they get Purdue at home. So a tough stretch coming up for the Cornhuskers. Number 9, I have the BYU Cougars. Also suffered a loss, like I mentioned earlier, to Texas Tech at Texas Tech. Great atmosphere that night. AJ DeBonsa kind of struggled in that game. One of the few times the series struggled. Outside of that, BYU's losses are at uh, a neutral site technically, but Storrs South in Connecticut, and then they lost at Texas Tech. So BYU is still, to me, one of the best teams. They do get Arizona coming up on the 26th. That should be a great game. But then they go to Kansas. So, BYU can, if they split those two games along with winning at home versus Utah, that'll kind of cement themselves in like the top 10 in America. But they lose two of those, both those games, they might slide a little bit. Lastly, I got Michigan State returning to my top 10. They come in at number 10 this week. Michigan State's still just has the two losses on the year. So 17-2 so far this year. Two losses were to Duke and undefeated Nebraska, two teams ranked ahead of them. So I still think Michigan State is one of the better teams in the country when they get Jackson Kohler playing well. Colin Carr knocking down threes last night at Oregon. Really tough to defend Michigan State when that's all going. They have Maryland at home, followed by Rutgers, and then they got the rivalry game versus Michigan ahead. I wanted to call out a couple weeks ago. I had Vanderbilt in the top 10. They go out and lose back-to-back games. I don't know if I'd say struggling, but maybe just coming back to reality. Actually lost three in a row. Texas at Texas, Florida at home, Arkansas on the road. So Vanderbilt scuffling a little bit. Illinois is close to cracking that top 10. If they keep winning and any of these other teams lose, they could see it. Gonzaga, same thing. And Braden Huff being out for Gonzaga really hurts them, I think, long term. May not hurt them in the West Coast Conference. They can probably win that league without him. But come March Madness, they're going to definitely need him, which I think he'll be back by that time. And then look out for the Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia slowly, quietly creeping up. They're up to number 13 in Ken Palm. They are up to number 7 in Bart Torvik. Virginia quietly putting together a 16-2 season. Two losses were to Butler and Virginia Tech. Not great losses. Just the one loss in the ACC, so a game behind Duke. Unfortunately for Virginia, their only top 30 opportunities in Ken Palm left are late February against NC State and at Duke. So Virginia has a real chance here to kind of boost that resume and keep winning games, and they'll definitely be a top 4 seed in March Madness if they can win most of their games left on the schedule, which is a very high likelihood. So that's the top 10 for the week.